The Tennessee Titans today made the first coaching firing of the year after letting go of Brian Callahan after a 1-5 start. It wasn't just the 1-5 start for the Tennessee Titans. It's being in the bottom, basically bottom two of points scored, total yards, passing yards, rushing yards. For a guy who came over after having a solid run of success as the offensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals, this performance that they've had is definitely not up to par. Now, there's a few things that play with this. The first thing is that I'm not going to try to sit here and act like he probably didn't deserve it, because you're 1-5 this year, you're 3-14 last year, 4 wins through 20 games. It's just not what you want your team to aspire to. And there's been really zero signs of pure improvement from this team. It's just not been a solid performance at all. And when you compare this team to other teams who have hired a head coach within the last few years, you look at this year, Ben Johnson with the Chicago Bears. Yes, they're only 2-2, but they look solid. The Saints this year, they're 1-5, but they look much better than Tennessee's 1-5. It's just comparatively, and especially Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, even though they lost yesterday to Seattle, they're 4-2. They're looking great compared to Tennessee, who's in their own division. Tennessee, I don't think they necessarily gave Brian Callahan the best hand to play with. Now, I'm not going to blame current general manager Mike Barganzi, because he probably had a decent draft this year. Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick. Oluwafemi Oladejo, a defensive end. He's been a solid player for Tennessee. Chimere Dike has been one of the better return specialists in the NFL as a rookie. Gunnar Helm has been solid as a rookie tight end. And Alec Ayamanor has been probably the number 1 option for Cam Ward next to Calvin Ridley in the passing game. Where I'm not going to blame Barganzi and where I'm going to blame more of the previous regime, Ryan Carthon, is, the selection of J.C. Latham last year at number 7 overall. I know he probably was a solid option, but he was selected before guys like Romo Dunze, guys like Brock Bowers, Talise Fuaga, Byron Murphy, Jared Verse, Troy Fatanu, Quinyon Mitchell, Brian Tom. That is probably a bad selection, J.C. Latham, number 7 overall. At number 23, you look at that one as well. Peter Skoronski, taken at number 11. Jahmyr Gibbs went in the next pick. Christian Gonzalez went a few picks later. Jackson Smith and Jigba went at 20. Zay Flowers at 22. Jordan Addison at 23. You could kind of go on and on and on. And it's not just the first round picks. They took Will Levis, number 33 overall, right before Sam Laporta. A few picks before guys that are actually playing really well and not sitting on the IR. And even when Will Levis was playing, he really was not playing well at all. And so, not only the draft picks, I can't blame Brian Callahan for trading for L'Jarius Sneed before last year, getting an extremely, probably at this point, overpaid contract, and him being injured for almost the entire first year of that contract. I can't blame Brian Callahan for some of the off-the-field moves that put this team together. But at the same time, the team didn't look good. They didn't look like they were on the same page offensively. They didn't look like defensively they could make up for the shortcomings on offense. And I think that is more of the reason why that he got fired more than the 1-5 record. It was just the poor play overall. It was an uncomplimentary team. And honestly, at this point, the side of the ball that I think played the best was honestly special teams. Offensively, they played poorly. Defensively, not great. Now, at this point, the Tennessee Titans haven't named an interim interim head coach. But the names I would kind of look at in terms of possible replacements, and this is going to be in the offseason, so I wouldn't necessarily even start to talk about that or have that conversation until at least week 15 or 16 when we see how more of these coordinators are kind of panning out. But a guy I would look at is Cliff Kingsbury in Washington. He's had an obvious track record of playing with really talented quarterbacks or coaching really talented quarterbacks and getting them to play really well. I would look at him probably first compared to some of these other possible candidates, because Cliff Kingsbury is also a guy who's been a head coach in the NFL, who's seen a team in the Arizona Cardinals go from a bottom feeder to a possible division winner. So to me, that's the guy I would target first. If you're a Titans fan, you know who you want your team to target as a head coaching candidate. Leave a comment below. Make sure you like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.